So, you want to learn how to program Bukkit plugins, huh? I'm going to show you. Bukkit plugins, if you want to program them, you need to have a basic understanding of Java. I made the mistake of trying to start off by learning how to program in Java by using Bukkit plugins. That was not smart. I ended up being frustrated, I was tired, and I gave up multiple times. So before starting this tutorial, I recommend you have at least a basic understanding of Java, or at least another object-oriented language. That way you kind of get the fundamentals down, because I'm just going to be jumping right into logic statements, superclasses, all kinds of that fancy stuff. So if you're ready to go, let's get started. In this episode, I'm going to be focusing mainly on getting your integrated developer environment set up. I specifically like Eclipse. Everybody else I've talked to, except for those select specialty few, like other ones that do more work for you, make it easier. And you know what? If they use those, more power to them. Great. But I've always liked Eclipse. I also like NetBeans, but NetBeans seems to be less user-friendly, but it supports lots of good stuff. So to get Eclipse, I'm just going to start with a simple, very nice and happy, simple Google search. Look it up, Eclipse. Oh, look at that, Eclipse download. You should be able to select which one of these you are. If you're Mac OS X, apparently they don't have 32-bit for that, so you better have 64-bit or you're going to be an unhappy camper. I'm Windows 64-bit, so I would click on that and follow the installation instructions. Installing it is very simple. You might run into some problems where you accidentally download the wrong one for your Java. Like say a lot of people think they have 64-bit Java, but in fact they actually have 32-bit. So make sure you choose the right one. If it doesn't work, chances are you probably chose the wrong one of these. If you've run into a problem, Google it. I mean, I can't think of all the problems that could happen. I mean, heck, your computer could catch on fire while you're trying to do this. Don't post stuff like that in the comment sections. Can't solve everything. So once you've installed that and you've gotten it working and your computer fire has been put out, go ahead and run it. It'll go ahead and give you a default workspace. I like to use that, so I just click OK and it'll get itself up and running once it loads. Just go ahead, and if you magically already had some projects done, you can just go ahead and close those out. Alright, so in order to get this project started, we need to make sure we have all of our resources. So Java is a pretty expansive language, but we're going to be using the Bukkit API, and even as expansive as Java is, it does not know the Bukkit API. So we need to get that, and it comes in the form of a jar. So you actually just get the Bukkit server jar, and that has become a little bit more complicated since I think I'm not going to say any specific usernames, but the person who contributed a lot of time and resources into Bukkit posted a DMCA for it and had it taken down. Luckily, Spigot and all of their epicness actually continue the development of this plugin, and you're able to get it through some legal loopholes. So the way that you can get it from them is actually through something they created called build tools. And you don't really need to know how it works except just how to use it. But build tools basically just takes the source that they made and that they update for Bukkit, then compiles it into jars for you, so that way you can use those jars. So let's just go to Spigot, build tools. Build tools isn't just, at least the version that I use, isn't just one that you can just put on your computer and run. You actually have to, there's some, I guess, user competence required. You need to follow their tutorial on the certain things that you need. You need the Git console. Prerequisites, don't know. So basically, this is the link for it. It's on the spigotmc.org website under their wiki. They'll tell you how to do it. Basically, once you get everything ready, you should have a Git console, and you should be able to build the jar. So I downloaded build tools from this wiki page and put it into its own folder. And let's just say that all this stuff is in here. Just pretend that you didn't see this. basically all you're going to have is buildtools.jar, alright? And that's going to delete itself for a couple of days. But so I'm going to go ahead and right click buildtools.jar, and if you set up your git whatever correctly, you should be able to click on git bash, and that should bring up a console. All this fancy junk, and you even get this fancy colors. So just to make sure you spawned or started in the correct area, you could just type in dir, hit enter, or apparently, oh wait, this is sh, do ls. There you go. Alright, sorry, I was thinking of the Windows console, whatever. So type in ls, you could do list, and that'll show that I have buildtools.jar in here. So now I simply want to run the jar. So I'm going to type in java space dash jar, and basically telling Java that I want to run a jar. Then I type in buildtools.jar and hit enter, and it should start to run. If you encounter any errors, can't really help you there. You just continue to follow their wiki, because once you just get, all you need this to do is just compile the Bukkit whatever for you. Alright, super simple. See, I'm pretty bad explaining, aren't I? You'll get used to it. So that's going to do its thing. I'm not going to make you wait for that because I already have it. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to create all the happiness in here. It's going to create, I believe, 2 or 3 different jars, and the one you're looking for is Craft Bukkit or just Bukkit. Let me see, I put it in here. Yeah, it's going to be Craft Bukkit. And so what you want to do is once you have that jar all happy and ready and it's already done, you want to make sure that this is done. You want to open up Eclipse, and we're going to start creating the project. So to create a project in Eclipse, if you don't already know how, they give you this big fancy button here. If you don't have that, you can just click on File and then go to New, then Java Project. So the project name, you know, this always varies depending on what you want to do, but this will just be, for my sake, Tutorial Project. Alright, so it should create a new one. For some reason my Eclipse is being an idiot and giving every single project this weird warning symbol. So if yours is doing that, I would just ignore it, because that's what I'm going to do. So what it should do when you create this is all you should see is your source folder and then JRE system library. Now source is where all your code is going to be. Later on in this tutorial we're going to go ahead and make a package, and we'll go into that later. Don't worry about it, don't stress, we're just going to go over the fundamentals right now. Then you have the JRE system library. This basically just gives you all the basic Java programming stuff that it will compile into the project when you're done. So to get our project set up, we need to point our project in the direction of the craftbukkit.jar, so that way Eclipse knows the Bukkit API. Because if we were to go ahead and just try programming it with Bukkit's API without it knowing Bukkit API, it's just going to freak out, errors everywhere, it's going to be like, what the heck are you doing? You should never be programming ever again. So to do exactly what I just said, except for breaking stuff, you right click the project and then go to Properties. Then in this list you should see Java Build Path. Select that. You should see JRE System Library already in there. And so what we want to do is we want to add an external jar. And then once you click on Add External Jar, a file window should pop up to select a file. And then you want to navigate to wherever you put your build tools, wherever, and to where it finished generating the Craft Bukkit file. Spaghett's also going to be in there, and some other ones, but for this specific tutorial, I'm going to use Craft Bukkit. Open it up, click OK, and you should see reference libraries come up here, and then Craft Bukkit. If you see that, you're all good. So that means that you're ready to get going on setting up your plugin. So to get the plugin ready and going, we need to create a package to house our code, okay? You can just put it in the source, but I highly recommend against that, and I believe that everybody else in programming highly recommends that. So what you want to do is right click the source folder and go to New and then Package. Now the package is basically just, I guess you could say, the address to where your code is going to be housed. Now what everybody I've seen, what they do is they do like their website or their email or something backwards. Since my website is thetaco.us, I'm going to do us.thetaco. I'm not done yet, But to kind of explain this a bit further, let's say if your email was John Appleseed or whatever, you could just do com.gmail.johnnyappleseed, I don't know, anything like that. Just basically, you're doing this to make your plugin's address package different from any other plugin, because your plugin could potentially be running with many other plugins, and if they had the same package names, that would present problems. So, us.thetaco. Then, since this is tutorial project, I'm going to go ahead and name the last bit of my package in this section just tutorial. Alright, there we go. So now I've created a new package and it's empty. This video was a bit long to have in one part, so check into part 2 for the end of this introduction video.